Welcome to the deep dive. Today, we're going to take a fascinating plunge into artificial intelligence.
Yeah, specifically looking at Alibaba's recent moves.
Exactly. Their new Qwen Large Language Models. This isn't just, another tech headline.
No, definitely not. It feels like it could really shake things up, especially in the open source AI world.
And it's a pretty clear marker in the global AI race that's going on.
For sure. We've got quite a bit of info articles, some analyses all about this launch.
Right. And our mission here is to really pull out the important bits for you.
Kind of a shortcut, yeah, to understand what's happening at the cutting edge of AI right now.
Okay, let's get right into it then. Alibaba Cloud just announced this whole new family of Qwen LLMs.
LMN's large language models, yep.
And the lineup is Qwen Max, Qwen Plus, and Qwen Turbo. Kind of sounds like car models, doesn't it?
Huh, yeah, a little. But we're talking serious AI brain power here, not engine size.
Definitely. So what's the really big news piece here?
Well, the most significant part is that these models are being released under open licenses within China initially.
Okay, open license. That's key.
It is. It positions Alibaba right up there as a major player in open source AI, challenging the established names like Meta, Google, maybe even OpenAI.
So it's more than just free software. It's about access.
Exactly. Opening up access to really advanced AI, which could, speed up innovation everywhere.
Now, I can hear people thinking, okay, China, how does that affect me directly?
Right. It's a fair question. Even if the initial open release is China-focused because of regulations, the ripple effect could be global.
Oh, so?
Well, think about it. More competition globally usually means faster innovation, right?
Generally, yeah.
When you have more smart teams tackling similar problems, even from different angles, we all tend to get better AI tools faster.
Makes sense.
Plus, the fact these models are built with a deep understanding of Chinese language and culture, that sets a benchmark.
For localization.
Exactly. It empowers businesses in non-English speaking regions, and it highlights this growing trend of countries wanting their own AI capabilities.
AI sovereignty, they call it sometimes.
Yeah, that's the term. Developing and controlling their own AI. It's becoming really important economically and strategically.
Okay, so let's look at the models themselves. Qwen Turbo, Qwen Plus, Qwen Max. What's the difference?
Right, so Qwen Turbo, name kind of gives away speed,
Fast processing.
super fast inference, yeah. Perfect for things like chatbots or virtual assistants where you need that instant reply.
Okay, real-time stuff. What about Plus?
Qwen Plus hits that middle ground. It balances capability with speed, probably a good fit for, like, mid-sized companies.
A workhorse, but still quick.
Sort of, yeah. Then you have Qwen Max. That's the powerhouse.
So they're really tough jobs.
Exactly. Complex reasoning, generated computer code, deep data analysis, multi-step problem solving.
Yeah.
That kind of heavy lifting.
Okay, got it. And there's also something called Qwen 3. I've seen that mentioned.
Yes. Qwen 3 is the next generation. It's their latest open source LLM series.
So even newer, even better.
That's the promise. Alibaba's talking about serious upgrades all around. Better reasoning, following instructions more accurately, more effective at using other software tools, and significantly, even broader multilingual support.
And they're saying it can compete with the very top models out there now.
They're suggesting it can perform on par, yeah. Which, if true, is a huge step.
Wow. Keeping pace like that is significant. And 1.3 isn't just one thing, right? There are variations.
Correct. Looks like 8 different versions, actually. Different internal structures, different sizes.
Why so many?
Flexibility, mainly. It gives developers options. Smaller ones might even run efficiently on edge devices, like your phone, potentially.
Interesting. Now, I saw this term hybrid reasoning models connected to Qwen 3. What does that actually mean?
Yeah, that's a really interesting concept they're introducing. The idea is that Qwen 3 can combine, like, standard LLM abilities.
Like generating text, answering questions?
Right. Combine that with what they're calling advanced dynamic reasoning.
Okay, dynamic reasoning.
Think of it like this. The model can quickly handle simple requests, but it can also switch gears into a more deliberate, step-by-step thinking mode for complex tasks.
Like solving a coding problem.
Exactly. Or a multi-step logical puzzle. It can shift between these modes, supposedly quite seamlessly.
That sounds efficient.
It could be. They highlighted one specific model, the Qwen 3 235B A22B MOE.
MOE.
Mixture of experts. It's an architecture. The claim is this MOE model could seriously lower the cost of running these big, powerful AIs.
How does MOE help with cost?
It's kind of like having a team of specialized experts instead of one giant brain trying to do everything. Only the relevant experts activate for a given task, which saves computing resources.
Clever. Okay, and you mentioned better language support for Qwen 3. How broad are we talking?
The reports say 119 languages and dialects.
Wow, 119. That's pretty comprehensive.
It's a massive step towards making AI genuinely global.
Here, let's circle back to the open source part. For listeners maybe not deep in tech, why is making the code open such a big deal?
Right? Good question. So open source basically means the underlying computer code is freely available.
Free to use.
Free to use, study, change, and even redistribute. Now, while the current official open release is limited to China for regulatory reasons, the models themselves, including Qwen 3, are popping up on platforms developers use worldwide, like Hugging Face, GitHub, plus Alibaba's own cloud platform.
So people outside China can still access them?
It seems so through those platforms. Think of it like sharing a recipe. Instead of a secret formula locked away,
Yeah.
the code is out there. Anyone can try it, tweak it, make it better. It just accelerates how fast things develop.
Like crowdsourcing AI improvement.
Kinda, yeah. And it seems the earlier Qwen models were already super popular in that community.
Oh, really?
Hugely. Alibaba's figures say the series has been downloaded over 300 million times.
300 million. Wow.
And developers have apparently created over 100,000 variations or derivative models just on Hugging Face alone.
That's massive adoption. It speaks volumes about the model's quality, I guess.
It really does.
Yeah.
And worth noting, Alibaba's own AI assistant called Quark is actually running on Qwen 3 now.
Ah, so they're using it themselves. Dog fooding, as they say.
Exactly. Okay, so what does this mean for the actual developers, the people building AI apps?
Yeah, the coders on the ground.
Well, it's potentially a huge boon for them. More high-quality models available for free. That means easier experimentation.
Less cost to try new ideas.
Precisely. Startups especially can grab these as a base model and customize them, which could really speed up prototyping.
Faster time to market.
Potentially, yes. And having more tools available around these models helps whether you're building something for your local market or aiming globally.
Plus, I guess the chance to actually contribute back to the open source project.
Absolutely. It fosters that collaborative spirit in AI development.
Okay, what about for established businesses, not just the startups?
For larger businesses, the integration with Alibaba Cloud is a big plus. You get enterprise-grade reliability, security.
The stuff big companies need.
Right. Scalable solutions. And crucially, it gives them more choice. They can weigh up proprietary models versus these high-performing open source ones.
Without necessarily sacrificing performance based on these claims.
That seems to be the implication. And having Alibaba's track record behind it adds a layer of trust.
So in practice, this could mean what? Better chatbots on websites?
Could be, yeah. Or smarter product recommendations on e-commerce sites, maybe customer service tools that actually understand you better, especially in your own language.
It really feels like Alibaba's making a strong play here, trying to disrupt the status quo.
I think that's fair to say. Analysts are definitely seeing Qwen 3 as a serious contender.
Not just in China, but globally.
Both. A challenge to domestic rivals and the big U.S. players. The combination of performance claims and open source availability is seen as a breakthrough.
And it shows that Chinese AI labs are really advancing despite things like U.S. export controls.
That's a key point analysts are making, yes. It underscores their capability in developing really competitive open models.
And this is all playing out against that backdrop of the global AI race, isn't it?
Absolutely. It's not just company versus company anymore.
It's bigger than that.
Much bigger. This launch really emphasizes that AI development is becoming more, well, multipolar, more diverse globally.
And more open source players helps everyone move faster.
Generally, yes. Innovation tends to accelerate. And that strong localization piece, the language support we talked about, that's a huge win.
And it feeds into that idea of countries wanting strategic control over AI.
Exactly. AI is increasingly viewed as critical national infrastructure, vital for economic strength and security.
So that gap we used to hear a lot about between U.S. and Chinese AI labs, is it closing?
The consensus seems to be yes, significantly. Some experts suggest the gap might only be months now, maybe even weeks in some areas.
Really? That close?
That's what some analyses suggest. And with Qwen 3 out, and competitors likely responding soon, that gap probably isn't going to widen. It might even shrink further.
Are other Chinese companies also going open source?
We're hearing signals, yeah. Companies like Baidu are reportedly considering more open releases too.
So the future isn't just a few big Western companies dominating AI,
It's looking less likely. We seem to be moving towards a more diverse, decentralized, competitive AI landscape.
where openness becomes more important.
It seems crucial, yeah. Alongside raw computing power, things like collaboration, localization, accessibility, they're becoming increasingly vital.
Okay, so wrapping up this deep dive, the big picture is that Alibaba's Qwen LLMs, particularly Qwen 3 and its open approach, are a really significant development.
Definitely. It's fueling competition, pushing boundaries, and making powerful AI potentially more accessible.
It's a major event in the global AI story.
Absolutely. And, it leaves us with a really interesting thought to chew on. We'll think about how the rise of these powerful, but also localized open source AI models might change things. Not just technology, but maybe global power dynamics, the future of cross-cultural communication, innovation.
Yeah.
When really good AI understands local context deeply, what happens then?
Mm. What kind of unexpected collaborations or, I don't know, disruptions might pop up in this more multipolar AI world?
Exactly. It's something to really consider.
Definitely food for thought. If you want to dig deeper into this, we'd encourage you to check out platforms like Hugging Face, see what's happening in open source AI.
Yeah, and just keep an eye on how this whole global AI landscape keeps shifting. It's moving fast.
It certainly is. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive.